Hi, I am Michael Josol, and together with Aldus Austria, we are going to present to you our undergraduate thesis entitled Coronavirus Readiness Strategies, Customer Satisfaction and Customer Behavioral Intention in Supermarkets During the Pandemic in the Philippines. Chapter 1 Introduction is composed of background of the study, review of previous research, gap or missing information, objectives, significance of the study, and scope and limitation. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease according to the Constitution of the World Health Organization. These three categories, mainly physical aspect, mental aspect, and social aspect, are the essential cores of health. Physical health traditionally means your physical body is free of diseases or disability. But now, as people adapted and started to live longer, the definition has also evolved into being able to live comfortably and do things you want to do. Mental health includes the emotional, psychological, and social well-being of a person. This affects how we feel, think, and act. Based on a book, Health and Fitness by Neyman Ishai, physical health is correlated with mental health because having a good physical health can leave a better personal feeling in the long run. Social health can be defined as a person's ability to interact and form meaningful relationships with others. It is also related to how a person can adapt comfortably to social situations. Social relationship impacts the aspect of physical and mental health and the mortality risk of a person. According to Diener and Chan, better health is the center of human happiness and well-being. Being healthy is also significant to the progress of the economy because a healthy population means more productivity. Staying healthy might be a challenge to people, especially when there are many factors that combat health, such as viruses, diseases, and flus. A similar disease to pneumonia began emerging in Wuhan City, Hubei province in China in 2019. Further research by WHO shows that a similar case where a new type of coronavirus similar to SARS was discovered and was named coronavirus 2019 or COVID-19. The emerging pandemic alarmed the world and spread greatly across nations, including the Philippines. On March 7, 2020, the first local transmission of COVID-19 was confirmed. On March 16, the government of the Philippines under President Rodrigo Duterte implemented enhanced community quarantine in Luzon, which is total lockdown of communities, restricting the movement of population except for the necessary personnel such as doctors, nurses, police, army, etc., or the frontliners. On May 16, the IATF issued Resolution Number 37 overriding prior plans, placing Metro Manila, the cities of Angeles and Bacoor, and the provinces of Laguna, Bataan, Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, and Zambales under modified enhanced community quarantine, which is a more lenient than ECQ but stricter than GCQ. Cebu City and Mandaue City were placed under ECQ while the rest of the country was placed under GCQ. On May 31, ECQ in Luzon ends as most localities downgraded to either General Community Quarantine or Modified General Community Quarantine. The lifting of Enhanced Community Quarantine in some parts of the Philippines and transitioning to General Community Quarantine or Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine gave people some freedom under a restricted regulation. A lot of sectors were greatly affected by COVID-19. This includes tourism, education, retail marketplaces, entertainment, sports, and economy. Traveling to different countries was proven difficult as soon as the WHO declared the crisis as a pandemic. Countries all over the world have started closing their borders to halt the spread of the virus. Financial markets have suffered a big blow during the pandemic where it suffered a drop in all levels of transactions. Schools were suspended when the outbreak of the virus started spreading worldwide. Many businesses are closing down due to the lockdown's insufficiency of customers. Although the pandemic may have crippled the livelihood of people in the first days of the pandemic, people are now adapting and trying to cope up in these drastic times. A lot of sectors were greatly affected by COVID-19. This includes tourism, education, retail marketplaces, entertainment, sports, and economy. Traveling to different countries was proven difficult as soon as the WHO declared the crisis as a pandemic. Countries all over the world have started closing their borders to halt the spread of the virus. Financial markets have suffered a big blow during the pandemic where it suffered a drop in all level of transactions. Schools were suspended when the outbreak of the virus started spreading worldwide. Many businesses are closing down due to the lockdown's insufficiency of customers. Although the pandemic may have crippled the livelihood of people in the first days of the pandemic, people are now adapting and trying to cope up in these drastic times. People are now adjusting and trying to cope up with the new normal. According to an article written by Dr. Ylem of Star Media Group, as long as the world has not found a cure or a vaccine for COVID-19, the world may have to adjust to a new normal, meaning a new way of living and going about our lives, work, and interactions with other people. Before the pandemic, people did not pay attention that much to healthy standards. Now, people are practicing social distancing, proper hand washing techniques, wearing PPE, and practicing mindfulness and stress relief. According to an article written by Financial Express Online, the increase in precautionary measures an individual will take to protect themselves against the virus will minimize the risk of getting an infection. With the new normal in perspective, businesses such as restaurants, malls, and retail stores are beginning to resume their operations. These essential establishments provide necessities for an individual. According to Sumati Reddy, there is still one place nearly everyone needs to visit at some point during this pandemic, which was the grocery store. There are many different types of stores that sells groceries. The first one was the traditional grocery. Under this category were the following stores: traditional supermarket, fresh format, limited assortment store, and super warehouse. The second one was categorized as a non-traditional category. Under these categories were the following stores: wholesale club, supercenter, dollar store, drugstore, mass merchandiser, and e-commerce. Grocery shopping truly remains a necessity for people during this pandemic, and even though people are advised to stay indoors to help slow down the spread of the virus, people are forced to expose themselves just to stock up groceries. Based on the article written by Jovi, more than 110,000 workers have been infected with the COVID-19 pandemic. From this perspective, many grocery stores are applying safety measures to adapt to the new normal. In the article written by Negrillo, a supermarket applies the no mask, no entry policy, as well as providing customers sanitation when entering the premises. The store also provides a waiting area for customers wherein chairs are set up to 1 meter apart to abide to the social distancing rule. A resolution number 38 made by the Interagency Task Force or IATF provides a guideline to countermeasure the spread of the pandemic. The protocol states that customers in malls ages below 21 years old and above 60 years old, and those with immunodeficiency, comorbidity, pregnant women, including any person who resides with the aforementioned, may not enter malls and shopping centers. The operation of malls and shopping centers will only accommodate 50% of the venue capacity. All persons are mandated to wear protective equipment to lessen the transmission of the COVID-19. Department of Labor and Employment and Department of Trade and Industry also implemented guidelines for the workplace. The guidelines issues to increase physical and mental resilience, such as emphasizing to workers the importance of staying healthy, reduce transmission of COVID-19 when entering and inside the premises, minimize contact rate, and then reduce the risk of infection from COVID-19. The employer shall provide necessary company policies and equipment for the prevention and control of COVID-19 in consultation with the workers, while the workers shall comply with the workplace measure for the prevention and control of the pandemic. Facility layout and design also plays an important role in the resume of business operations of each economic sector during this pandemic. According to Heisler and Render, layout is an important decision that determines the efficiency of a long-run operation. A study by Megahead gave us insights on how we could more effectively use healthy design and planning strategies to face pandemics. and create a less populated, more sustainable architecture and urbanism in general. In order to find out if the design made was truly effective in minimizing the risk of infection for COVID-19, a simulation of the new design is needed. A study by Li Ming shows that a computer simulation tool can help assess the decision-making of the researchers in the case of a pandemic. Simulating a facility is critical in studying spatial transmission of the virus and improving epidemic control. The designing of an improved facility layout wherein people can still experience normalcy amid the crisis of the pandemic is very important to help businesses go back to serving people while having to minimize and eliminate the risk of infection. According to Satyaraj, Kumar, and Subramani, customer perception can be defined as a marketing concept that encompasses a customer's impression, awareness, and consciousness about a company or its offerings. The researchers show that the customer's perception plays a big role when it comes to online shopping. The conclusions shown by the researchers can provide retailers enough knowledge to enhance and further develop their system to be on par with the likeness of the consumer. Another study by Tuan Ting Nguyen, customer satisfaction is considered a crucial factor that can affect the firm's sales, which means customer satisfaction influences the foundation that a store is successful. Based on the research conducted by Szymanski and Hennard, customers' behavioral intention is a key in a restaurant industry. The results show that the dissatisfied customer repurchase intention is significantly lower than the intentions of satisfied customers. The behavioral intention depends on a customer satisfaction and has been an accurate indicator of customers' actual behavior, according to Alexandris, Dimitriadis, and Markata. The study research by Rukuni and Maziriri show us that being prepared and ready store for COVID-19 brings a positive significant impact towards customer satisfaction. This satisfaction gives more possibility of customers returning to the store. A study entitled Data on Coronavirus Readiness Strategies: Influencing Customer Satisfaction and Customer Behavioral Intention in South African Retail Stores was done by using an SEM model. The research findings shows a significant difference between sanitized shelves and customer satisfaction. The research also recommends emphasizing the sanitation of entrances to improve customer satisfaction and be perceived by consumers as a ready-to-tackle COVID-19 store. Another study entitled COVID-19 and Retail Grocery Management: Insights from a Broad-Based Consumer Survey was done to examine the consumer's retail grocery shopping behaviors during the pandemic using a survey amongst U.S. adults. According to the research, consumer grocery shopping patterns have shifted drastically during COVID-19, particularly on the timing, duration, expenditure, and their switching to online grocery shopping. Another study entitled Influence of the Quality of Food Service and Physical Environment on Customer Satisfaction and Behavioral Intention in Quick Casual Restaurants: Moderating Role of Perceived Price identifies whether there is an influence on quality of food, service, and physical environment towards customer satisfaction and behavioral intention in quick casual restaurants. The study concludes that customers' perceived value is a significant predictor of customer satisfaction, and perceived price moderated the relationship between quality of food and customer satisfaction. Also, when a customer feels impressed with the decor and aesthetics in the store's environment, their satisfaction level increases. The results also provide strong support for the causal relationship between customer satisfaction to behavioral intention. Another study entitled Grocery Shopping Preferences During the COVID-19 Pandemic was researched to inform the variability in grocery shoppers' behavior under various scenarios of COVID-19 pandemic. The study concludes that the trend in the number of new COVID-19 cases also influences the grocery shopping preferences. For instance, consumers in environments where COVID-19 is spreading at an increasing rate incur the most disutility of shopping inside the store. Another research entitled Customer Satisfaction, Customer Retention, and Market Share shows that the retention rate is the most crucial component of market share, driven by customer satisfaction. The researchers also identified the satisfaction elements which strongly affect the bottom line. And lastly, the researchers can determine each satisfaction element's spending levels, which will maximize profitability. Gap or missing information. Based on the previous research towards customer satisfaction, behavioral intention, and grocery shopping behaviors, There are countless studies about customer satisfaction and behavioral intention. However, there are hardly any studies related to COVID-19 readiness of a grocery store towards customer satisfaction. Moreover, very few studies have yet existed related to COVID-19 safety protocols. There is also no prior study conducted about customer satisfaction on COVID-19 readiness in a grocery store in the Philippines and its effects on customer behavioral intention. Therefore, this study would be new and beneficial to business owners in the Philippines in improving their safety protocols to ensure that their customer is safe, satisfied, and willing to go back to their store during the pandemic. Objectives. The first objective is to assess current safety protocols that the grocery stores have established to prevent the spread of the virus within the establishment. The second objective is to identify significant factors that can predict customer satisfaction and customer behavioral intention. The third objective is to recommend COVID-19 safety protocols to enhance COVID-19 prevention strategies for grocery stores. Significance of the study. This research will contribute to the society's benefit, considering that one of the people's necessities during this pandemic is to go to grocery stores. The research could be a learning paradigm to help researchers and businesses to enhance their knowledge on how customers behave. The study would help to create a complete understanding of how underlying factors influence customer satisfaction in the COVID-19 readiness of a store in the current layout, current protocols, and employee performance of the store, and identify what factors influence customer behavioral intentions. The results of the current study could benefit grocery store as they can identify which COVID-19 readiness factors significantly affect customer satisfaction and behavioral intention, and can be used as a springboard to further discourse on how the administration of the stores could enhance their COVID-19 readiness strategies to attract more customers and ensure a smooth flow of operations inside the business premises, at the same time guaranteeing individual safety. Scope and limitations. The area of focus would be the top four grocery stores where consumers buy their groceries. These groceries are SM Supermarket, Puregold Supermarket, Walter Mart Supermarket, and Robinson Supermarket. The grocery stores would be located at Region 4A Calabarzon. The respondents of the survey questionnaires are in Region 4A. The researchers chose to use this location because Calabarzon has the highest number of grocery stores in the Philippines and second to the country's highest number of COVID-19 cases. Chapter 2 Methodology is composed of conceptual framework, respondents of the study, and research locale. The first phase of the study was an input-process-output model which aims to identify COVID-19 safety protocols that the grocery stores have established to prevent the virus spread within the establishment. The proponents gathered the necessary data and information by preparing an online survey questionnaire. The input variables include the responses from the survey. To analyze the data, the researchers would use descriptive statistics and SWOT analysis to test the respondents' response. With the use of the statistical tools, the researchers would be able to acquire respondents' profile and COVID-19 safety protocols that each establishment implement. The second phase of the study was an input-process-output model which aims to identify significant COVID-19 safety protocols that can predict customer satisfaction and customer behavioral intention. The input variables include the respondent's profile and COVID-19 safety protocols implemented by each establishment. The researchers grouped the safety protocols into 5 categories, which are the following: COVID-19 safety protocols for employees, for senior citizens, before entering the store, in the product aisle, and payment area. The researchers would be using correlation analysis to identify the relationship between the identified COVID-19 safety protocols. Analysis of variance would be used to identify each of the grocery store significant differences by comparing satisfaction per COVID-19 safety protocols from each grocery store. And lastly, the researchers would be also using multiple regression analysis to identify significant COVID-19 safety protocols that affect customer satisfaction and customer behavioral intention. The third phase of the study was an input-process-output model to recommend COVID-19 safety protocols to enhance COVID-19 prevention strategies for grocery stores. The researchers' input would be the COVID-19 safety protocols. Risk analysis would be used to identify the risks associated with the implemented COVID-19 safety protocols of a specific grocery store. Benchmarking would be used to identify which COVID-19 safety protocols each establishment has and compare it with the best international practices to recommend COVID-19 safety protocols to improve the previous protocols that each supermarket implements. The results of analysis would be the recommendation for COVID-19 safety protocols for grocery stores. Respondents of the study. The number of respondents was calculated using Slovin's formula. The study respondents would be individuals that buy in grocery stores who live in Calabarzon region and are within the age bracket of 21 to 65. The formula would be beneficial to determine the right sample size for the given population. The researchers calculated a sample size of 400 respondents for the online survey. Research Local. The researchers chose to conduct this study because grocery stores were one of the most frequently visited establishments during the pandemic, since it is necessary for people to buy their groceries in supermarkets. The researchers gathered the data they needed by distributing the survey online via Google Forms. The respondents are customers who buy their groceries at Calabarzon during the pandemic. As said earlier in scope and limitations, Calabarzon has the highest number of supermarkets per region. It also has the highest number of population amongst the regions. There are four chosen supermarkets for the survey. These supermarkets are SM, Robinsons, Pure Gold, and Walmart. These brands are the mostly shopped supermarkets in Calabarzon.
Chapter 3 Results and Discussion is composed of Respondents Profile, SWOT Analysis, One-Way Analysis of Variance, Correlation Analysis, Regression Analysis, Risk Analysis, and lastly, Benchmarking. Respondents' profile. The data presented were analyzed using a quantitative approach. The research was done using a descriptive system to obtain grocers' opinions concerning customer satisfaction and customer behavioral intention in leading supermarket during the Philippines pandemic. An online survey method was conducted to gather the appropriate data collection about this research. It allows the researchers to collect information about the respondents' satisfactions toward the supermarket coping with the pandemic using the Likert scale of 1 to 5. Using Slovin's formula, the researchers gathered a minimum of 400 respondents using the total population of the region of Calabarzon. SWOT analysis. The researchers would used the data gathered from the survey to identify each grocery store's strengths and weaknesses. The check mark indicates that each grocery store has a satisfactory level in implementing the protocol, and the X mark indicates that the protocols do not reach a satisfactory level. The protocols that have a check mark would be considered strengths, and those who have X marks would be considered weaknesses. The researchers will then identify the opportunities and threats associated with the COVID-19 safety protocols. The first table represents strengths and weaknesses for safety protocols for employees. The four supermarkets based on the data gathered have the strengths on the following protocols. EQ1. The employees wear a face mask and full face shield inside the establishment. EQ2. The employees disinfect and clean workspaces, equipment, and consider more frequent cleaning of high-touch surfaces. EQ3. The employees practice social distancing from other people whenever possible. EQ4. The employees as much as possible avoid direct contact with customers. EQ6. The employees guide and help customers when needed. On the other hand, the four supermarkets have the same weakness in implementing Protocol EQ5, which is the employees monitor the premises, ensuring that customers are obeying safety protocols. The tables represent strengths and weaknesses for safety protocols before entering the store. The four supermarkets based on the data gathered have same strengths on the following protocols. BSQ1. The store implements a contact tracing survey before entering the premises. BSQ2. The store implements a temperature check for every customer before entering the premises. BSQ4. The store ensures that customers wear their full face shield and face mask before entering the premises. BSQ6. The store provides foot disinfectant at the entrance. BSQ9. The store has posters that encourage customers to keep at least a 1 meter distance when walking inside the premises. BSQ11. The store has signages that shows proper etiquette and promotes personal hygiene. The four supermarkets based on the data gathered have weaknesses in the following protocols. BSQ3. The store specifies the exact age group that can enter the premises. BSQ10. The store provides a waiting area for customers who cannot enter the store. BSQ12. There is sanitized wipe for basket and trolleys. For protocol BSQ7, the store provides a designated area for the used basket and push carts. SM Save More, Robinsons, and Pure Gold have a rating that can be considered as strengths, while Walter Mart have a rating that is considered as weaknesses. For protocol BSQ5, the employees at the entrance spray customer hands before entering the store. SM and Robinsons have a rating that can be considered as strength. Walter Mart and Pure Gold have a rating that can be considered as weaknesses. For protocol BSQ8, the store accommodates a limited number of customers to avoid overcrowding. SM is the only one that have a rating which can be considered as strengths. Walter Mart, Pure Gold, and Robinson have a rating which is considered as weaknesses. The table represents strengths and weaknesses for safety protocols in the product aisle. The four supermarkets based on the data gathered have same strengths on the following protocols. PIQ1. The store installed floor marks to indicate the flow path of customers within the product aisle. PIQ2. The store has enough space between shelves in the product aisle. On the other hand, the four supermarkets, based on the data gathered, have same weaknesses on the following protocols. PIQ3. The store provides sanitizer in every other product aisle. PIQ4. The employees sanitize equipment located along the product aisle. PIQ5. The store implements a one-way movement within the store. The table represents strengths and weaknesses for safety protocols in the payment area. The four supermarkets have same strengths for the following protocols. PAQ1. The store establishes a designated cash retrieval box to avoid direct contact between customers and cashiers. PAQ2. The store establishes barriers in the payment area to promote contactless transactions. PAQ3. The store has footway markings located in the payment area. PAQ6. The store offers cashless transactions for customers. On the other hand, the four supermarkets have same weaknesses for protocol PAQ5. The employees spray alcohol disinfectant to customer hands at the counter. For protocol PAQ4, there is an alcohol disinfectant situated at the store counters. SM Save More and Robinson's Supermarket have a rating which can be considered as strengths. Walter Mart and Pure Gold have a rating which can be considered as weaknesses. Safety protocols for senior citizens. All of the protocols based on the rating are considered weaknesses. It means that the supermarkets have low customer satisfaction level in the following protocols. SCQ1. The grocery store accommodates customers with underlying health condition in the shopping hours for senior citizens. SCQ2. The grocery store specifies the same age group that are regarded as senior citizens. SCQ3. The grocery store provides specific hours for senior citizens to buy their groceries. SCQ4. The grocery store gives other customers notice about citizens' specific time to buy their groceries. Opportunities for each supermarkets include the following. Supermarkets can optimize their existing protocols, adapting the best international practices. Categorize protocols as strengths can still be improved by adopting the best practices available. Protocols categorized as weaknesses gives the supermarkets an opportunity to adopt new protocols that could essentially help combat the virus spread inside the establishment. The store management can improve its COVID-19 safety protocols to ensure its employees and customer safety by implementing the following protocols. Number 1. The supermarkets can improve on monitoring the premises by assigning personnel and marshals, ensuring that safety and well-being of employees are being monitored. Number 2. The supermarkets could clarify the age group that can enter the store. Number 3. Provide a customer flow that minimizes the contact between customers and maximize social distancing. Number 4. Provide enough waiting space for people who cannot enter the premises. Number 5. Improve sanitation practices in the store. Number 6. Accommodate customers with underlying health conditions. Number 7. Provide special hours for senior citizens and customers with underlying health condition. And number 8. The store can propose online grocery as an alternative service. The threats for the safety protocols implemented by the 4 supermarkets will be the following. Number 1. Customers' difficulty in adapting to new store safety regulations. Customers would have trouble following the new store regulations, especially those that they felt uncomfortable doing and not used to perform. Number 2. Additional cost for regular disinfection of surfaces and equipment. The store's management will incur additional charges for regularly disinfecting its surfaces and equipment. Materials such as sanitizers, foot disinfectants, and other cleaning products will supplement the store's overall expenses. Number 3. Employees' inconsistency in implementing safety protocols. Employees of the store can slack off in implementing safety protocols inside the store, especially when they feel uncomfortable doing it. Number 4. Risk of infection towards the customers and other employees. There is a possibility of risk of infection for both employees and customers if safety protocols are not correctly implemented. One-way analysis of variance. The researchers would use a one-way analysis of variance. It is a statistical tool that compares the means between different groups and determines whether any of those means are statistically different. The researchers would use this test to compare customer satisfaction per protocol for each of the various stores. The table represents COVID-19 safety protocols for employees one-way ANOVA. The given p-value for EQ1, EQ3, EQ4, EQ6 is greater than 0.05, which indicates no significant difference between the customer satisfaction in the 4 supermarkets. The 4 supermarket ratings for this protocol is on a satisfactory level. The given p-value for EQ2 is less than 0.05, which indicates a significant difference between customer satisfaction levels for the 4 supermarkets. Based on Chuki's test results, SM Save More, Walter Mart, and Robinson Supermarket rating is significantly higher compared to Pure Gold. This indicates that customers of the 3 supermarkets are more satisfied in terms of employees' sanitation practices compared to Pure Gold. For protocol EQ5, the given p-value of the data is less than 0.05. This indicates a significant difference between customer satisfaction in the 4 supermarkets. Based on Chuki's pairwise comparison, SM rating have significant differences compared to Walter Mart and Robinson supermarkets. Pure Gold supermarkets rating have significant differences from Robinson supermarket. However, the 4 supermarket rating is not on a satisfactory level. The table represents COVID-19 safety protocols before entering the store one-way ANOVA. The given p-value for BSQ1, BSQ2, BSQ3, BSQ4, BSQ6, BSQ9, BSQ11, and BSQ12 is greater than 0.05, which indicates no significant difference between the customer's satisfaction in the 4 supermarkets. BSQ1, BSQ2, BSQ6, BSQ9, and BSQ11 customers' rating for the 4 supermarkets is on a satisfactory level, while for BSQ3 and BSQ12, customers' rating for supermarket is not on a satisfactory level. For protocol BSQ5, BSQ7, BSQ8, and BSQ10, the given p-value is less than 0.05, which indicates a significant difference between customer satisfaction level for the 4 supermarkets. For BSQ5, based on Chuki's pairwise comparison, SM Save More and Robinson supermarket rating is significantly different from Walter Mart and Pure Gold. It indicates that customers are more satisfied with how SM and Robinsons implement this type of protocol. In addition to this, Walter-Mart and Pure Gold rating is not on a satisfactory level. For BSQ7, based on Chuki's pairwise comparison, SM, Walter-Mart, and Robinson's supermarket ratings are significantly different from Pure Gold supermarket. It indicates that customers are satisfied with SM Save More, Walter-Mart supermarket, and Robinson's supermarket compared to Pure Gold. For BSQ8, based on Chuki's pairwise comparison, SM Save More rating is significantly different from the three supermarkets. It indicates that customers are more satisfied with SM Save More implementing this protocol compared to Walmart, Pure Gold, and Robinsons. For BSQ10, based on Chuga's pairwise comparison, SM Save More is significantly different from Walmart, Pure Gold, and Robinsons. Pure Gold rating is also significantly different from Robinsons. However, the rating of the four supermarket is not on a satisfactory level. The table represents COVID-19 safety protocols in the product aisle one-way ANOVA. The given p-value for PIQ1, PIQ2, PIQ4, and PIQ5 is greater than 0.05, which indicates no significant differences between customer satisfaction in the four supermarkets. PIQ1 and PIQ2 customers' rating for the four supermarkets is on a satisfactory level, while PIQ4 and PIQ5 customers' rating for the four supermarkets is not on a satisfactory level. For PIQ3, the given p-value is less than 0.05, which indicates a significant difference between customers' satisfaction levels for the four supermarkets. Pure Gold and SM rating is significantly higher compared to Walmart and Robinsons. However, each supermarket rating is not on a satisfactory level. The table represents COVID-19 safety protocols in the payment area one-way ANOVA. The given p-value for PAQ1, PAQ2, PAQ3, and PAQ6 is greater than 0.05, which indicates no significant difference between the customer satisfaction in the four supermarkets. Customers' rating for the four supermarkets on this protocol is on a satisfactory level. For PAQ4 and PAQ5, the given p-value is less than 0.05, which indicates a significant difference between customer satisfaction level for the four supermarkets. For PAQ4, based on Chuki's test, SM Safemore and Robinson supermarket rating is significantly higher compared to Walmart and Pure Gold. This means that SM Safemore and Robinson's customers are more satisfied in the implementation of this protocol compared to Pure Gold and Walmart. For PAQ5, based on Chuki's test, Pure Gold supermarket rating is significantly higher compared to Robinsons. However, each supermarket's rating is not on a satisfactory level. The table represents COVID-19 safety protocols for senior citizens one-way ANOVA. The given p-value for STQ3 and STQ4 is greater than 0.05, which indicates no significant difference between customer satisfaction in the four supermarkets. Customer rating for the four supermarkets on these protocols is not on a satisfactory level. For STQ1 and STQ2, the given p-value is less than 0.05, which indicates a significant difference between customer satisfaction levels for the four supermarkets. For STQ1 and STQ2, based on Chuki's test, SM SaveMore rating is significantly higher compared to Robinsons, Pure Gold, and Walmart. However, each supermarket rating is not on a satisfactory level, which means an improvement in this protocol must be implemented in the future.
Correlation analysis. It is a statistical method used to evaluate the strength of the relationship between two quantitative variables. It is the process of studying the strength of the relationship with available statistical data. The researchers used the software Minitab in solving the statistical analysis of correlation. This table represents the results of pairwise correlation analysis between age, frequency, time, overall satisfaction, and customer behavioral intention. It shows that there is no significant relationship between the variable of age, frequency, time, overall satisfaction, and customer behavioral intention, which means age does not affect these factors. There is no significant relationship between the variable frequency to time, overall satisfaction, and customer behavioral intention, which means that the duration of the grocery, overall satisfaction, and customer behavioral intention is not affected with how often the customer do groceries. There is a significant relationship between overall satisfaction and time, but a weak correlation result in Pearson correlation value, which means that both variables do not correlate. The same results can also be seen with the variables of customer behavioral intention and time. There is a significant relationship between overall satisfaction and customer behavioral intention, which means that if the customer is satisfied with the supermarket protocols, then the customer would also recommend the supermarket to its peers. This table represents the pairwise Pearson correlation analysis results between customer satisfaction factors with the COVID-19 safety protocols implemented by grocery stores that have significant relationship to one another. The researchers have highlighted the red factors that have a strong correlation amongst other factors. The legend shows us the factor with each corresponding code. A sample explanation of the results is given. For example, if a customer is satisfied with X significant factor that has a significant relationship with Y significant factor, then the customer is also satisfied with Y significant factor. The following are the factors that have significant relationship with one another: EQ1 to EQ4, EQ6, BESQ2, and BESQ4. Next is EQ3 to EQ4, followed by BESQ2 to BESQ4. Next table is the Part 2 continuation of the correlation analysis results between customer satisfaction factors with the COVID-19 safety protocols implemented by grocery stores. The following are the factors that have significant relationship with one another: EQ5 to BESQ10, BESQ3 to PIQ5, BESQ5 to PAQ4, PIQ3 to PIQ5, PAQ1 to PAQ2, PAQ1 to PAQ3, PAQ2 to PAQ3. Lastly, the Part 3 continuation of the correlation analysis results between customer satisfaction factors with the COVID-19 safety protocols implemented by grocery stores. The following are the factors that have significant relationship with one another: EQ1 to PAQ6, EQ1 to SCQ3, EQ1 to SCQ4, EQ5 to SCQ3, BSQ3 to SCQ3, BSQ3 to SCQ4, PIQ3 to SCQ3, PIQ5 to SCQ3, PAQ2 to PAQ6, and lastly SCQ3 to SCQ4.
Researchers conducted regression analysis using the software Minitab. The researchers used regression analysis on the COVID-19 safety protocols using overall satisfaction and overall customer behavioral intention as the response variable, the factors affecting the safety protocols as continuous predictor, and gender and province as categorical predictors. The table represents regression analysis of factors to customer satisfaction. BSQ9 and PAQ5 are the most significant factors that affect customer satisfaction because it both has the lowest p-value, which is 0. This means that posters that encourage customers to social distance (BSQ9) and employee disinfecting customers' hands (PAQ5) greatly affects customer satisfaction. Employees wearing face masks and full face shields (EQ1), employees practicing social distancing (EQ3), employees guiding and helping customers when in need (EQ6), the store implementing contact tracing survey (BSQ1), the store providing foot disinfectant (BSQ6), the store installing floor marks in product aisle (PIQ1), the store establishing designated cash retrieval box for payment (PIQ1), the store installing plastic barriers in the payment area (PIQ2), and the store offering cashless transactions (PIQ6). It all has a respective p-value of less than 0.05, which means these safety protocols also has a direct impact on customers' satisfaction. The table represents regression analysis of factors to customer behavioral intention. EQ1, EQ6, and BSQ9 are the most significant factors that affect customer behavioral intention because these three factors have the lowest p-value, which is 0. It means that employees wearing masks and full face shields, employees guiding and helping customers when in need, and store putting up posters that encourage customers to social distance and abide to the new norms greatly affect customer behavioral intention. The factors that were also considered significant based on the regression analysis results were employees practicing social distancing, EQ3, employees spraying customer hands before entering the store, BSQ5, the store installing floor marks in the product aisle, PIQ1, employees sanitize equipment located along the product aisle, PIQ5, store installing barriers in the payment area, PAQ2, and lastly, the store offering cashless transactions for customers, PAQ6, can influence customer behavioral intention. This is because the p-value of these factors is less than 0.05. Risk analysis. The researchers perform risk analysis because it would help identify the different risks associated with implementing suggested solutions to a company and manage potential problems that could undergo business initiatives or projects. Risk analysis is the process of identifying and analyzing potential issues that could negatively impact key business initiatives or projects. This process is done to help organizations avoid or mitigate those risks. This tool would help the researchers identify the risks associated with implementing COVID-19 safety protocols for each grocery store. The table represents risk analysis for safety protocols for employees. The mode of failure for employees' first safety protocols would be the incorrect use of PPE, especially face shield. Employees tend to improperly wear their face shields, making them vulnerable to acquiring the virus. The possible preventive solution would be to ensure that the employees wear their full face shields and face masks correctly inside the establishment, especially if there are many customers inside the store. The possible risk that could be encountered would be there is a possibility that employees do not wear their PPE correctly all the time. This is because there is no store personnel that monitors them, and they felt uncomfortable wearing their PPE. The solution to this would be having a daily reminder about the importance of wearing their full face shield and face mask inside the store, giving them time every hour to remove their face shield if they feel uncomfortable, but always ensure it is appropriately worn most of the time, especially if there is a massive volume of customers inside the store. The possible mode of failure for the second safety protocol would be their inconsistency in regularly cleaning high-touch surfaces, equipment, and workspaces. A preventive solution should be the store having a cleaning schedule allotted to each employee. The schedule should be outside the store operating hours. The store employee should consistently perform it. The risk associated with this regular cleaning would be employees' exposure to surfaces with high human contact. The employee would have a higher chance of acquiring the virus from this kind of activity. The possible contingency plan would be to ensure that their employees clean the workspaces and equipment properly, using the appropriate materials and appropriate methods to provide customers and employees safety from acquiring the virus. Possible mode of failure for the third safety protocol would be when employees neglect social distancing rules. To prevent this, employees should be reminded by the store's management to practice social distancing as much as possible. Employees tend not to follow the rules if the administration does not confront them. The potential risk associated with it was when customers and employees break social distancing rules. This could happen because employees have the urge to talk to other employees when needed and assist with customer queries. In case this happens, employees should be the first to remind customers about the importance of practice social distancing, as it would reduce the risk of acquiring the virus. The possible mode of failure for the fourth safety protocol would be an unavoidable instances where customers and employees would directly contact each other. It could occur when customers accidentally touch employee's hand at the counter and any other activities that require the assistance of an employee. The possible solution for this would be employees and customers should both sanitize their hands after having direct contact with each other. The risk associated with this was when customers or an employee neglects the importance of sanitizing after contact, which could increase the chance of acquiring the virus from each other. In case this would happen, employees should always remind customers to sanitize their hands. Possible mode of failure for the fifth safety protocol would be employees who do not consistently monitor the premises. There could be instances where employees may neglect their duties to ensure that they follow safety protocols. Management should give a guideline and schedule for employees for them to properly perform their tasks. The procedure would help to assign employees in this kind of job be consistent with what they are doing. The possible risk associated with it would be when customers neglect the reminder about safety protocols. In case this would happen, employees should always ensure that customers follow the established safety protocols. They should consistently monitor every customer inside the store, ensuring that each customer is obeying safety protocols. The possible mode of failure for the sixth protocol would be when employees cannot accommodate other customer queries during peak hours. The preventive solution to this would be to assign employees to accommodate customers' needs, especially those areas with a high number of customers. The employee's task is to respond to the customer queries solely. This would prevent customers from approaching other employees during peak hours of the store. The possible risk with this is when customers become dissatisfied with the services offered by employees. To prevent this from happening, the employees should try to guide and help customers when needed while maintaining social distancing. The table represents risk analysis for safety protocols before entering the store. The possible mode of failure for the first protocol would be when customers refuse to answer the contact tracing survey. A preventive solution to this would be to remind customers of the importance of answering the form and refuse the entry of customers unless they comply with the store's regulation. The possible risk with it was when customers did not correctly fill up the form. The possible solution to this would be employees should check the form and give it back to the customers when not correctly filled, reminding them to fill the form with complete details. The possible mode of failure for the second safety protocol would be their inconsistency in regularly cleaning high-touch surfaces, equipment, and workspaces. A preventive solution should be the store having a cleaning schedule allotted to each employees. The schedule should be outside the store operating hours. The store employees should consistently perform it. The risk associated with this regular cleaning would be employees' exposure to surfaces with high human contact. The employee would have a higher chance of acquiring the virus from this kind of activity. The possible contingency plan would be to ensure that their employees clean the workspaces and equipment properly, using the appropriate materials and appropriate methods to provide customers and employees safety from acquiring the virus. The possible mode of failure for the third protocol is the employee's inconsistency in restricting the age that can enter. Sometimes, employees at the entrance allowed customers to enter the store even if they are not qualified to enter the allowable age. The management should always remind employees about restricting particular age groups entering the store to prevent the problem from happening. The solution would help the employee to perform their work correctly. However, risks such as customers that are unaware of age restrictions policies can occur. To prevent this, the store should provide signages and announcements about the age group entering the store to keep the customers informed about their policies. The possible mode of failure for the fourth protocol is when customers do not wear their face shields and face masks properly. A possible solution is to prohibit the customers from entering until they wear their PPE correctly. The solution would force the customers to properly wear their face mask and face shields before entering the store. The possible risk associated with it was that customers may not fully comply with the rules and insist on entering the store. In this case, the employee should give reminders about the importance of wearing PPE properly inside the store. Possible mode of failure for the fifth protocol is when customers refuse to sanitize their hands. To prevent this, employees should not allow customers to enter until they sanitize their hands. The solution would ensure customers sanitize their hands before entering the store. The possible risk associated with it was that customers might insist on entering the premises without following the protocols. In this case, the employees should remind them about the importance of sanitizing their hands before entering the store. It will prevent them from bringing the bacteria they carried in their hands inside the store premises. The possible mode of failure for the sixth protocol is when a foot disinfectant is not enough to remove the virus from the customer's foot properly. To prevent this, the employee should regularly sanitize the foot disinfectant at the store entrance. The risk associated with this cleaning would be employees' exposure to surface with high human contact. The employees would have a higher chance of acquiring the virus from this kind of activity. The store should provide the appropriate disinfecting materials and methods to ensure the safety of employees. The possible mode of failure for the seventh protocol would be when customers leave the pushcarts or basket in a store's random area. Some customers have a habit of leaving their used basket and equipment. In this case, the employee should remind customers as much as possible to put the used equipment in its designated area. The possible risk associated with it was when customers neglect the reminder of employees. In this case, the employees should put the used basket and pushcart at its designated location. The possible mode of failure for the eighth protocol would be when the customer is unaware of the protocol that limits the number of people that the store can accommodate to avoid overcrowding. The possible solution to it was to create signages and announcements about the total permissible number of people to enter the premises. However, employees' error in tracking the total number of customers entering the store is unavoidable. In this case, the store can acquire a device that tracks the number of customers entering the premises. This would manage the store to monitor the number of customers entering the store and notify other customers if the store's maximum capacity has been reached. The possible mode of failure for the ninth protocol will be posters, most of the time placed only at the store's entrance. The customers should be continuously reminded about maintaining a safe distance from each other all the time. To prevent this, posters should be placed in areas where a high volume of people interact. The risk associated with it was customers neglect the protocols seen in the posters. In this case, the store should have employees that remind customers about the posters that promote social distancing. The possible mode of failure for the 10th protocol would be when customers overcrowd in the waiting area. In order to prevent this, the management should assign employees that will monitor the waiting area. The possible risk associated with this was that even though there are employees in the waiting area, there is a possibility that customers do not observe social distancing with each other. In this case, the store should have a social distancing mark, and the employee should strictly monitor the waiting area and ensure that customers practice social distancing. Possible mode of failure for the 11th protocol would be signages, most of the time placed only at the store's entrance. To prevent this, posters should be placed in areas where a high volume of people interact. The risk associated with it was customers neglect the protocols seen in signages. In this case, the store should have employees that remind customers about the signages posted to promote personal hygiene. The last protocol's possible mode of failure would be when the store failed to provide wipes for baskets and trolleys. To prevent this, the store should ensure that there is always a supply of sanitized wipes for baskets and trolleys. The risk associated with it is when customers do not use the sanitizing wipes. In this case, the employees should remind customers to use the sanitized wipes provided by the store.
The table represents the risk analysis of safety protocol in the product aisle. The possible mode of failure for the first safety protocol for the product aisle is customers' negligence to follow flow marks. The possible solution is to use signs and posters to inform customers about following the floor marks. The risk associated with this is that the negligence of the customers to abide by the rules implemented. A possible contingency plan could be to assign an employee to assist with the flow of customers. The possible mode of failure for the second safety protocol for product aisle is cramped workspace in the product aisle, making social distancing harder. The possible solution is to adjust the product aisle spacing for a more expansive workspace to prevent this failure. The risk associated with this is more areas will be occupied, meaning less room for products. The possible contingency plan could be to use one-way movement in between product aisles. The possible mode of failure for the third safety protocol for product aisle is there are no available sanitizers for customers to use. The possible solution is to have a sanitizer available in every product aisle. The risk associated with this is that the customer could get bothered with the lack of sanitizers available. Another risk is the infection on the surface of public sanitizers. A possible contingency plan is to give portable alcohol to customers and assign personnel with a portable hand sanitizer. The possible mode of failure for the fourth safety protocol for product aisle is that employees do not regularly clean high-touch surface, equipment, and workspaces. To prevent this, the possible solution is that the store should give a regular schedule for cleaning high-touch surfaces and areas where people always interact. The risk associated with this is that the employees might not follow the cleaning schedule or clean the high-touch surface thoroughly. The possible contingency plan is for the employees to clean workspaces and equipment properly, using the appropriate materials and appropriate methods to provide customers and employees security from acquiring the virus. The possible mode of failure for the fifth safety protocol for product aisle is that the employees cannot control the customer's movement due to the high volume. To prevent this from happening, a possible solution is to put markings on the floor to indicate the flow path. The risk associated with this is the negligence of customers to follow flow marks. The possible contingency plan could be to assign personnel to assist with the flow path of the customer. The table represents the risk analysis of safety protocol in the payment area. The possible mode of failure for the payment area's first safety protocol is no available cash retrieval box. The possible solution is to establish a set cash retrieval box for the customer to put payment to prevent this. The risk associated with this is the virus might transfer through the box container if it is not sanitized correctly. The possible contingency plan could be to advise customers to use sanitizers before and after payment. The possible mode of failure for the second safety protocol for the payment area is there are no plastic barrier or improper set of plastic barrier. To prevent this, the possible solution is that the store can set up a proper plastic barrier that will ensure the customers' and employees' safety. The risk associated with this is that the wrong setup of plastic barriers, which might increase infection rate, putting the employee and customer in danger. The possible contingency plan could be to do regular cleaning and sanitation in the payment area. The possible mode of failure for the payment area's third safety protocol is that no footway markings are implemented in the payment area. To prevent this, the possible solution is to implement footway markings on the floor for proper distancing. The risk associated with this is the improper placement of markings. The possible contingency plan could be to assign personnel to assist customers in properly distancing in the payment area. The possible mode of failure for the payment area's fourth safety protocol is that there are no available sanitizers for customer to use. To prevent this, the possible solution is to have a sanitizer available at every payment area. The risk associated with this is that the customer could get bothered with the lack of sanitizers available. Another risk is that the risk of infection on the surface of public sanitizers. The possible contingency plan is to give portable alcohol to customers and assign personnel with a portable hand sanitizer. The possible mode of failure for the payment area's fifth safety protocol is that there are no available sanitizers for customer to use. The possible solution is to have a sanitizer available at every payment counter. The risk associated with this is that the customer could get bothered with the lack of sanitizers available. Another risk is the risk of infection with public sanitizers. A possible contingency plan is to give portable alcohol to customers and assign personnel with a portable hand sanitizer. The possible mode of failure for the sixth safety protocol for the payment area is the credit card machine is faulty. The possible solution is to conduct regular maintenance in card machines or use cash as payment to prevent this. The risk associated with this is making cash payments might increase the risk of infection of the virus, and conducting regular maintenance can be costly. A possible contingency plan could be to use phone payment as an alternative payment. The table represents the risk analysis of safety protocols for senior citizens. The mode of failure for the first protocol, safety protocol for senior citizens, is that there are no specific grocery protocols for senior citizens and high-risk customers. To prevent this, the store should implement specific grocery shopping hours for senior citizens and persons with underlying conditions. The risk associated with this is that the other customers would sneak into the shopping hours of senior citizens. The possible contingency plan is to assign personnel who enforces the protocol to disallow customers who are not candidates for the protocol. The mode of failure for the second protocol of safety protocol for senior citizens is that the employee forgets to restrict customers due to high volume of people entering the supermarket. The possible solution is to ask the customer for senior citizens card or disability identification card to prove legitimacy. The risk associated with this is the employee's negligence and inconsistency in checking the customer's age group. The store should inform customers about the exact age group that can be accommodated via signs, posters, or social networking sites. The mode of failure for the third protocol of safety protocol for senior citizens is that there are no specific hours for senior citizens and persons with underlying conditions to shop in. To prevent this, the store must implement and set a schedule on specific hours for senior citizens and persons with underlying conditions to shop in. The risk associated with this is that the schedule of shopping hours may not be followed. The contingency plan that can be implemented is that the store should assign personnel to do the shopping for the senior citizens and persons with underlying conditions customers. The mode of failure for the fourth protocol of safety protocol for senior citizens is that there is no notice about the implementation of protocols given to customers. To prevent this, the store must inform customers about the new protocol of providing specific hours to buy groceries for senior citizens and persons with underlying conditions. The risk associated with this is that the customers might not be informed early on and get distraught. The contingency plan that can be implemented is to put up posters, signages, and social media sites to notify customers about the implementation.
Benchmarking. The researchers will use this tool to determine if each supermarkets implement the same protocols and compare them to best international practices. It would allow each supermarket to adopt the best safety protocols to minimize infection risk inside the establishment. The researchers would use the customer's rating table from Appendix C. Each of the check marks indicates that the store, based on the customer rating, is satisfactory, and the X mark indicates that they are not satisfactory. The table represents benchmarking safety protocols for employees. Based on the results, the four supermarkets have a satisfactory rating on the first, second, third, fourth, and sixth protocol, while the fifth protocol has a unsatisfactory level. The following are the best practices that each stores can consider for each safety protocols for employees. For EQ1, employees should wear the recommended face shield and face mask inside the store all the time. For EQ2, employees should wear correct PPE and adopt proper method in cleaning and disinfecting. For EQ3, employees should maintain at least a 6-foot separation distance all the time. For EQ4, employees should take precautionary measures when contact between customers cannot be avoided. For EQ5, employees' consistency in their job responsibilities, ensuring safety protocol is being followed all the time. For EQ6, designate a person who is responsible for responding to COVID-19 concerns and inquiries of customers. The table represents benchmarking safety protocols before entering the store. Based on their results, the four supermarkets have a satisfactory rating on protocol number 1, 2, 4, 6, 9, and 11, while protocol 3 and 12 have a unsatisfactory rating. For protocol 5, SM and Robinsons have a satisfactory rating, while Walter Mart and Pure Gold have a unsatisfactory rating. For protocol number 7, SM, Walter, and Robinsons have a satisfactory rating, while Pure Gold have unsatisfactory rating. For protocol 8 and 10, SM Save More is the only one who have a satisfactory rating. Walter Mart, Pure Gold, and Robinsons doesn't have a satisfactory rating. The following are the best practices that each stores can consider for each safety protocols. BSQ1 implement a digital contact tracing survey. For BSQ2, the temperature check process should be conducted by the employee using a thermal scanner requiring no skin contact. For BSQ3, asking for an identification card and providing posters and announcements that indicate the allowable age to enter the store. For BSQ4, customers should wear the recommended face shield and face mask, and employees should remind customers to wear it properly inside the store. For BSQ5, employees encourage the customers to sanitize their hands before entering the store. For BSQ6, the store should provide a 3-zone foot disinfectant for cleaning and scrubbing, disinfecting, wiping, and drying. For BSQ7, customers and employees should easily access the designated area for basket and push carts, and regular disinfection of used basket and push carts. For BSQ8, stores should post a sign in a visible location that states the maximum capacity they are permitted to operate under, and a verbal announcement if the store reaches its maximum capacity. For BSQ9, posters should be placed in areas where a high volume of people interacts. For BSQ10, assign employees that monitor the waiting area. For BSQ11, signages should be in areas where a high volume of people can be found. For BSQ12, the store should regularly provide wipes and instruct customers to dispose of the wipes correctly.
The table represents the benchmarking of safety protocols in the product aisle. Based on the results, the customer rating in the first and second protocol is satisfactory, while the third, fourth, and fifth protocol is unsatisfactory on 4 local supermarkets. The best international practice for each protocol are as follows. First, installation of clear visible floor marks that catch the attention of customers that indicates traffic direction. Second, aisle spacing should be enough to accommodate 2 shopping carts. Third, hand sanitizer should be strategically placed in the product aisle. Fourth, clean and disinfect frequently touched surfaces within the establishment. If the surfaces are visibly dirty, clean them before disinfecting. Fifth, grocery stores apply retractable barrier posts. The table represents the benchmarking of safety protocols in the payment area. Based on the results, the first, second, third, and sixth protocol have all satisfactory customer rating in all 4 local supermarkets, while the fourth protocol only have high satisfaction rating on SM and Robinsons and low satisfaction rating on Walter Mart and Pure Gold. This means that Walter Mart and Pure Gold needs to optimize and improve in this protocol. The fifth protocol all have an unsatisfactory customer rating for all 4 local supermarkets. This means this protocol needs attention for improvement. The best international practice for each protocol is suggested. First, adopt recommended guidelines in accepting paper and coin money as mode of payment. Second, consider installing plexiglass or other physical barriers where physical distancing can be maintained. Third, place visual cues such as floor decals, colored tape, or signs to indicate to customers where they should stand during checkout. Fourth, hand sanitizer should be strategically placed. Fifth, employees encourage the customer to sanitize hands and avoid touching face before and after the payment transaction. 6. Encourage customers to pay via a cashless transaction to minimize physical contact. The table represents the benchmarking of safety protocols for senior citizens. Based on the results, all the protocols have an unsatisfactory level on all the 4 local supermarkets. This means that the 4 local supermarkets need to improve on these protocols. The best international practice for each protocol are suggested. First, make guidelines and criteria for accommodating senior citizens and persons with underlying health conditions. Second, customers who are at least 60 years old or are immune compromised are considered to be special customer. Third, the first business hours of the grocery stores is dedicated to senior citizens and immune compromised customers. Fourth, groceries give notice through social media and signages to inform customers that they implemented special grocery hours for senior citizens and high-risk shoppers.
We move on to the last chapter of this study, the conclusion. For the first phase, by using respondents' profile and SWOT analysis, the researchers were able to assess the current safety protocols that each supermarket implements to prevent the virus spread within the establishment. For the second phase, by using ANOVA, the researchers were able to identify significant differences among the implemented COVID-19 safety protocols for each of the grocery store involved. By using correlation analysis, the researchers were able to identify a relationship between significant factors, whether there was a positive correlation and negative correlation. By using regression analysis, the researchers were able to identify significant factors that affect customer satisfaction and behavioral intention. For the third phase, by using risk analysis and benchmarking, the researchers were able to recommend COVID-19 safety protocols to enhance COVID-19 prevention strategies for each grocery stores.
Thanks for watching.